welcome to another Sanctuary Sunday. Sanctuary! Yes, the day where I try to cover something other than war games. And today, I'm covering everything but a war game. I am looking at Lords of Creation. Yes, this sounds like a good topic for Sanctuary Sunday. This is my continuation of my RP generic or RP gen, which covers generic or universal or rule sets, role-playing rule sets that can, take you anywhere you want to go. You're not pigeonholed into fantasy or sci-fi or military or post-apocalyptic or whatever genre are out there. This one encompasses them all. One ring to rule them all. And this was published by Avalon Hill back in the day. Role-playing adventure game of travel through time and space. And it really wasn't set only on like time travel. I mean, you could use this system to do a fantasy campaign, to do a sci-fi campaign, to do a modern day campaign, to do a spy campaign, whatever you wanted to do. You could do it here, but it kind of gave you the rule set to, transcend or to transverse those different genres. You could, go through time or come up with whatever way you want to jump or leap or move from genre to genre. And the real neat thing about this is that it kind of had this God mode, like when you level up or when you get more experience, you could eventually become a Lord of Creation. That was kind of its ultimate level to get to. So did not get a ton of love back in the day. I picked this up, played it. I was basically, I think I went through one. I think I had a friend of mine game mastered this adventure. But then I mainly played around with it myself, making my own adventures and game mastered a few of my own type of creations as well. It did have some modules. I don't know if it had more than these two, the Horn of Roland and the Omegacron. I played this one, played it as a player, game mastered it. I never played this one. But if you can see, Avalon Hill kind of came out with their modules in these box format. Everything was a box, right? So you kind of had this box format for the for their adventures, which was kind of cool. But we'll take a look in these as well. I might even have one of the ones that I created in here. But let's open up the box. Well, let's look at the box real quick. Ooh, little box fart there. The ultimate role-playing game, a game of science, fantasy, science fiction, and high adventure that explores the farthest reaches of your imagination. Splendid adventures take place throughout time, space, and other dimensions. Excuse me, still fighting a cold here. Designed for both experienced role-playing gamers and beginners, Lords of Creations allows unlimited voyages via your imagination through time and beyond worldly dimensions. Journey into magic realms ruled by sword and sorcery, bizarre aliens, and killer robots on mysterious planets and distant galaxies. Venture into the worlds of mystery, horror, and wonder hidden just beneath the surface of the present everyday world. Experience thrilling adventures as you become a valiant and courageous hero. All you need to play are the rules and dice included and your imagination. I might have the original dice in here. I'm not certain. Dice have a way of transporting themselves, much like a time traveler, into other boxes, into other nooks and crannies of my game room and any playing area. But you have a combat system, including 53 types of weapons, more than 450 foes, 100 different non-combat skills, and 53 combat skills, and 60 different powers. I mean, there's a lot of game system in this box, and probably one of the reasons why it maybe didn't do as well is, it didn't do. It was a jack of all trades. It didn't do any one genre justice. It kind of peanut buttered over all the different genres. And it was like too much to think about. Like my first role-playing game was Traveler, and one of the things about Traveler was it was kind of open-ended. you creating the character was really cool. In fact, you could die creating the character, but it was kind of open ended on what you could do, and it was so vast. This was even more than that, because this is that plus fantasy realms and historical realms and wherever you want to go. So it was, again, fits very nicely into my RP Gen, or generic or universal role-playing system. So you can take a look at that playlist down below. It's getting bigger. These might be the original dice. I'm not certain if they are or not. I don't think this one is. But, you never know. They look pretty good shape. So let's look at the rule book here. Here's the Lord of the Creations rule book, which charted out at, how many pages are we looking at here? Looking like 64 pages with an index on the back. So, and it was like a rule book you would see in a Avalon Hill game, right? Just a good old paper rule book, and had a table of contents. And as you saw, it had an index on the back. Dual column. The only color really is the contrast print, between the headings and the regular print. So you had some blue and some regular here. But here's your experience table. So if you go to, this looks very familiar in anything you see like in Dungeons and Dragons, which this is the same time period as Dungeons and Dragons. I think Advanced Dungeons and Dragons probably, which is 2.0. I believe that's about the same time period. So you've got your personal force, and you can go up to over 100 is Lord of Creation. And this is how many powers you get, and the experience points, and then your abilities that you get. If you get up to a Lord of Creation, you get construction. So you can construct your own little pocket universes and stuff like that. And then it gives you time travel the higher you get. So the game master doesn't have to come up with gadgets or figure out ways to get you from different universes or time periods. You eventually can just kind of go wherever the heck you want to go. So that was kind of the way that this developed. This is really at its heart kind of a time travel role-playing game, right? Character record sheet. Here's all your abilities and characteristics and stuff like that. And you had your skill list. There's a lot of skills. It was very practical, as you can see, like detective and engineer and espionage. So, it was very easy to get this into, use this for a universal role-playing system. You go modern, you can go sci-fi, you can go fantasy. Here's computer, you can go futuristic, right? Here's your reinforcing skills. And I believe this came out before, I think it was 3.0 on D&D that really kind of came out with, there was always skills, but they came out with the feats and stuff like that. This kind of had some of that notion to it. They didn't call them feats, but had some of that notion as before its time, right? Here's your modern equipment list, futuristic equipment list. You got some descriptions of them. Close combat. There's a lot of combat. Part 5 is combat. There's a lot of emphasis on combat in here. It's kind of a universal combat, because you're mixing and matching, sword and bows with, laser cannons or the like. Here's your morale table, reaction morale table. It wasn't a bad little system here. Here's powers. It just didn't, other than those 2 adventures, it just didn't get a lot more love. You could have come out with some more source books. This was kind of predated the notion of having like tons and tons of source books for each of these different eras. And, they could have come out with some more specific source books to flesh out some of these genres, but, they just didn't do that. Here's Game Master information. And so here's creating foes, and here's your and so part 5 is Lands of Wonder. So they gave you some settings. That's another thing they could have done. They could have just come out with setting books as well. But again, this was really just scraping the tip of the iceberg. You needed to use your imagination to figure out where you wanted to go. So here's like Elder Lands, which are really based on kind of ancient Greece. You had some futuristic lands there. You also had the land of Urlo. Then you also had, I think they had, there's Paris during the swashbuckling era. I thought they had like Norse in here as well. Here's Prido. And here's some gods and what have you. Yeah, here's the 9 worlds. So you got the Norse worlds right there. So anyway, so that's the rule book. That's everything. That's 64 pages of everything. Then you have your Book of Foes, which is your Munster manual, right? And then you have your typical setup there. It looks very similar to a Munster manual with your key characteristics, and then a little bit of a blurb on them and how they interact. But this is just full of that. You have some humans in here too, some famous humans you saw there, like Billy the Kid, John Dillinger. So you got, you know, some basic level, and then going on down, who are some of the maybe more tougher foes that you had to face in that genre or that type of framework. So anyway, I mean, this is very similar, but it was really kind of cool because it gave you a different view on the foes. Oh, the rest of this I think is my stuff. That was my my adventure that I took some people through. That was interesting to say the least. Maybe more interesting to me than maybe to my people that played it. Let's see what else we have in there. There's a character sheet. The rest of this is probably just all old papers. Yeah, there's the pad. So I had a pretty good character pad there. Didn't use very much because I usually made copies or wrote it out handwritten. So there you go. That is what you get in the box of, well, you don't get all that, but that's what you get in the box of Lords of Creation. Those might be some of those might be the original dice. I think these are possibly the original dice. I don't know. Let's look at Horn of Roland. Spoiler alert. I don't know if you can even find these anymore, but you know, as you can see, mine are in really good condition because I'm kind of a yeah, I'm one of those guys that really try to take really good care of my stuff. But this is in, you know, excellent condition. As I said, I played through this another person's copy. Oh, there's a spoiler. Got Serenade of Bergerac in there. So, but it was your typical. There's old Humphrey Bogart there. Your typical type of scenario that you would expect for Dungeons and Dragons or any kind of role-playing game. Good book, thick book, and then it would have some extra features in it. Oh, look at that. There's my old... I keep everything. I'm kind of a hoarder. And this was the supplemental materials to play the game. This is for the game master only. You know, you have some notes and some glyphs and some newspapers. You know, this was kind of a detective murder mystery that has it started out and then takes you well beyond that. So that is I'm put it this way. That is Horn of Roland, which was not bad. As I said, I spent more time kind of creating my own stuff on this. So there's Horn of Roland. You get a 48-page adventure book and 5 special player aids. Then you have a Megacron. I might have played this. I really don't know if I did or not. I don't remember playing it. I remember looking at it. I know I never game mastered it. So there's a ad. Very, very nice condition there. And do your friend a favor. And then this had an adventure. You got a little map grid there. Very cool. And you had your foes that are going to be in here, which that's the main reason a lot of us got these adventures over time. We wanted to get more Munster manual foes. So you got all the encounters. So you really, excuse me, really don't want to spoil it there. Then we have a short history of Akron. Okay, that was the setting of it. And then we have some player aids in here as well. Oh, I got another heroes. Maybe the other one was from my Horn of Roland one. So you've got some player aids. Don't want to spoil it too much. So again, everything you would expect in an adventure. You know, this was on just regular paper, but the adventure itself was pretty nicely laid out in the in the adventure book. Very, very nice big rule book. So there you have it. That is what I have for you today. A little walk down memory lane. I'd love to know if any of you played this back in the day. What did you think about it? And if you can still pick this up. I mean, this is interesting. This is, at the very least, if you have access to this, it provides some nice little context, because you can use this as a source. But it's kind of like GURPS, right? You can use this as a basics source book for several different genres, and especially maybe focusing on the time travel aspect as well. This has got more rules on that. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, and take care. Thanks for watching.